Hey everyone, it's Brian, aka Hopper, and after a 17-hour train ride from Stockholm, we are here in Abisko. Yep, here in Sweden, and we are going to be hiking another awesome trail, at least I sure hope it is. We will be hiking Kungsleden. It's about 500 kilometers from Abisko all the way to Hemavan. So let's get ready to hike on. Got our first signs of animal life. That's some good-sized poop. Upon crossing this river, we are leaving Abisko National Park. It covers the first 16 kilometers, and while you're inside the park, you cannot do any wild camping, but there are some huts that you can stay at for a fee. But we're going to continue and hopefully find a good place to camp. Okay, well, this is going to be the end of the first day. Normally I'll hike until about 45 minutes before sunset, but since we are technically above the Arctic Circle and it is the 25th of June, there will be no sunset. So yeah, it's going to be a very bright evening way up north here. So I got my tent set up here. Once again, I'm using the Light Hard Gear solo awning tent, and I'm hiking here with Victor. So he's our Swedish friend. He's got his little tent, and in there is Claudia, yep, from Austria. So yeah, and I met everybody all through traveling. So yeah, it's amazing things you can do and people you can meet when you travel. Down there in the distance, those are real reindeer. I'm not sure if Santa owns them or what, but wow, that's amazing. Hey everyone, so when you come here to hike Kungsleden, there are basically three options that you can do. You can either, well, let's just say there's three options if you start in Abisko. You start in Abisko, you go south, and you get off at that big mountain behind me, and that's, and I'm sorry I'm butchering the pronunciation, Kebnekaise. It's actually not even a Swedish word, it's actually Sami. So, and then most people, they go up there, and then they go down the east side, and then they're done with the trail. Others will hike from Abisko, come here, tag the top of that mountain, and then continue south all the way to Hemavan. Now, I don't believe the mountain is actually technically part of the trail, but that's okay. And others will start in Abisko, walk right by this mountain, admire its beauty, and then continue south. And that is what I'm going to do. Normally, if there's the highest mountain in an entire country, I'm going to go tag the top of that mountain. But I have irritated a previous foot injury, so if I take an entire day to get to the top of that mountain, I'm not going to make it. It's going to be really, I don't think I'm going to make it to get to the end of the trail where I've already booked a flight back to Stockholm. So for now, my friends, if you can still see them way in the distance over there, they've gone up and over because that's what they have to go back to work. And myself, well, I'm going to continue south and hike on. Well, it's my first night here on Kungsleden sleeping alone. I had to say goodbye to my friends. Yeah, sad to say goodbye to Victor and Claudia. They're somewhere headed up toward the top of that mountain. I don't know if it's really my first night alone because here above the Arctic Circle, it never really gets dark. In fact, the sun never sets. So is it really night? I don't know. Either way, I'm going to get some sleep, and I got a lot of hiking to do tomorrow. There's supposed to be wolves and bear here. I don't know if that's what got this reindeer, but something got it. According to this sign, Mordor is that way. Behind me is one of reportedly 6 water crossings that you need a boat. Now, I got here right as somebody just went across, and there are 3 boats. Got to be 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So the guy that just left before me, like a couple minutes, he's probably 30, 40 meters out there, he will go to the other side, grab another boat, because then all 3 boats are on that side. He'll come back, bring a boat here, and then I'll do the rowing on the way back. Okay, so what you have to do here is there's a river and there's 3 boats total, 2 on one side and 1 on the other. And if there's 1 boat on your side, you take that boat, you go to the other side, you pick up one of the boats, you cross back over with it, so you're towing a second boat, leave that one on the other side, and then you come back. The couple, and I hate to say it, the French couple that were right ahead of me by like a minute, they left the 3rd boat and stranded me on the other side. Luckily, there were some guys who had some kayaks, so they let me take a kayak, come over here, get a rowboat, and then tow the kayak and the rowboat back to that side, and then I came back. And of course, as soon as I got here, this couple just happened to be here. So, I mean, I guess if I had waited 2 hours or whatever, but hey, it saves me some time. But now, I've lost a couple hours, so got to hike on. Hey, good morning. So I stayed here at the STF hut last night because behind me is a big body of water and there's only like 2 ferry crossings a day, and one of them is only accessible to a bus to get there to get across. So basically this is the equalizer right here. Oh, and I'm at the bus stop. But yeah, so I ended up staying there last night, and it was because of what happened yesterday with the whole ferry crossing. The people at the hut host at the other hut sent a message up here to saying, hey, watch out for those French people, kind of educate them. Well, we never actually found the French people to educate them, but the hosts here were very gracious and let me stay here, which was awesome. But I did want to say one thing. I hope it didn't come across like I was stereotyping all French people because of the actions of just these 2. And we have to remember that while traveling, is not to stereotype an entire population based on the actions of, of 1 or 2 or even a small handful of people, because, well, that's just not right. That's, the halo effect or recency bias, and we want to avoid that. So, I mean, after all, now when I travel. When any of us travel, whether we want to admit it or not, we're ambassadors of our country. So, there's mosquitoes here. So yeah, wherever you're from, you do something that reflects either positively or negatively about you. And as long as we're talking about ethnicities, yesterday or the day before, I mentioned the Sami language. So what are the Sami? The Sami are the indigenous people that live here. They used to be referred to as Laplanders because this is the Lapland, but over time the term Laplander has had a negative connotation. So now the people who were the Laplanders, well, they're now called the Sami because, well, that's what they prefer to be called. So call them Sami. So yeah, up here you have the Sami people, no longer Laplanders, and instead of Lapland, it's now called Samiland by many people. And after almost a 20-hour delay trying to cross this river, finally got transportation to the boat, and now once again on the south side, ready to continuing hike on. After crossing to the south side of that river, we ran into a folk music festival, which means food. Oh yeah. Yep, nothing but hikers and hippies around here. Deer wraps, freshly grilled. Well, it rained yesterday, and that may be the reason why there's an increase in mosquito activity, but I'm here at another water crossing. It's 3 kilometers across. There is the electric boat, or the motor boat, but it doesn't leave for another 5 hours. Right there in the background, you can see it, there is a rowboat, and there's one on this side, and supposed to be 2 on the other, but this one here has a broken oar. So, and I'm not doing a 3 kilometer 3 time, but luckily, oh, what do you see there? Yep, that's a rowboat. So when that person comes over, I'll be taking that rowboat back the 3 kilometers over, and I've actually got another hiker here. This is Annie from Canada. So I'm gonna have someone to help me with the rowing. Look at all these mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna bring them with me.
they're everywhere.
They would like to hike to Kungsleden.
But we'll be taking this boat
They're leaving quick, you can go
all the way across the next body of water. And the mosquitoes too. Hey, good morning. So last night I got to spend the night here at this little shelter hut. It costs 100 krona to stay there, and you just pay at another hut that's coming up. So it's on your honor. And I got to share it here with James. He's from the UK. But here's the crazy thing. There are more mosquitoes inside that hut. I don't know how they get in, but there are definitely more inside than outside. In fact, after about an hour of trying to sleep, James got up and put his tent outside. And myself, I actually found a way to attach my tent and hang it from the ceiling. You just need protection from the mosquitoes. If there's another one of these, I might camp next to it, but I won't go in it. We are now crossing the bridge on the Vakkotavare. And I'm guessing this is the Vakkotavare River. Wow, I can't believe there's reindeer this far south. I was told they would only be further north where they have the cooler temperatures and fewer mosquitoes. This is great to see them though. Here we come across a Sami hut, and it is actually open to hikers. You can stay in there. And let's see, a little bit of trash, but it's supposed to be mostly weatherproof, except for that big hole in the top. Here in these rocks, I think I just saw a lemming. I think he's way inside that hole. But here are his lemming drops. Oh, there's one went. Oh, small guy, they're quick. There he is. Oh. All right, the great equalizer is the water crossing. This is the 6th water crossing that I'm doing. I thought it was supposed to be 6 total, but there's supposed to be 1 more, so there's actually going to be 7. So, but I've got to wait like an hour and a half until the boat goes. So what do? The people here that run the boats, they also sell some snacks, which they would get rid of these mosquitoes. And so I got some snacks, and of course, they even heated up a pizza for me. First pizza on trail. Thanks for the ride. Beautiful view, but I hope this wasn't the rowboat I was supposed to take. This rowboat's a little bit better, a little more seaworthy, but I'm gonna try my chances and keep looking. Well, there's a rowboat up there on the shore, but I don't think that counts, but this one counts. But it looks like I may have to go across, back, and across again. Well, it's only about 300 or 400 meters across. Now, normally I'd have to tow one of these boats back, but right over there, yep, there are two other hikers who are ready to take a boat across for me. So timing is everything. Okay, so that was the 7th boat water crossing of 6. So I guess there's supposed to be 6. Turned out there were 7, but there should be no more the rest of the way. Oh no, I've gone off trail. I'm in Norway. Nah, just kidding. I'm here in Jakvik at the ICA, which apparently is a Norwegian-owned grocery store chain. Okay, I only needed probably like 2.5 days worth of food to top off to make it all the way to the end. But Jakvik here at the ICA, that was the best resupply that I've seen on trail yet. All the other resupplies have basically been, you know, like in somebody's front office, a few snacks, some bars, or the STF huts will have some resupply, but about every other one. And this is just better here. There's just a much bigger selection. Before us is the Ammarnäs. It's a small structure that basically provides some relief when the rain comes in, which, believe it or not, it actually was raining here earlier, so I stopped in. But it's dry, comfortable, and there are no bugs. Well, that looks kind of wet. All right, we'll just have to backtrack, and then, look, there's a way around. Here in a small village of Adolfstrom is a small country store just like that. You can get some food, some snacks, no hot meals, but behind there are showers and they let you camp here. So I just had the best, most glorious shower I've had in 10 days. Actually, it's the only shower I've had in 10 days, and I smell so much better. I still stink, but I smell better. At the edge of the lake, there's this lake house here, and they will actually make you burgers. I just had the most amazing hamburger. Maybe it was just amazing because I've been out here on the trail, but you can see some other hikers behind me as well, and we all just got the burgers and the fries and a drink, and it was so good. In fact, they don't even open until noon, but we were here about an hour early, and the lady opened up for us. But, yep, there's the lake. I gotta continue hiking.
It's probably very tasty.
Yeah. The info solar. We can make our own Ammarnäs. We get our own special games on.
It's a light version.
Something coming out of the...
This little fella here's alive. All right, buddy, hope you get better. With just about 100 kilometers to go, we are officially below the Arctic Circle. Yep, at night the sun technically, I guess, dips below, but the sun in the sky, it's still pretty bright. Last night, upon arriving here in the town of Ammarnäs, I decided to splurge and stay at the Ammarnäs Gardens. They had, it was actually pretty economical. It was only like 840 krona, which is like, I don't know, like $83, $82 a night. But I got my own room, own private shower, breakfast included, amazing buffet. And let me tell you, hikers and buffets, yeah, we can do some damage. And there was a sauna too. It was great. But I got to get back on trail and hike on. Periodically on the trail, you'll see trail signs like this giving you directions, and well, always a good idea to see one that says Kungsleden. But if you look here, this is the first time we're seeing one that says Hemavan. 79 kilometers. Below us is one of the many huts on this trail. They average about every 16 kilometers or so as a guideline. Sometimes they're farther in between. However, I really haven't had the opportunity to stay at any of them except for one, because I hike until the end of the day, and if there's a hut at the end of the day, then great, I'll stay there, but otherwise I'll just keep going and use my tent. We were about 38 kilometers from finishing Kungsleden, and during the entire trail, the location of the huts and my pace for the day, they rarely coincided. So I never had the opportunity to stay at a hut that had all the amenities, such as the sauna. But this one here, this is the last one that has all those amenities. So, yep, I'm gonna stay here for the night. This hut, not only is it on the lake, but right behind me, that's the sauna. And now Sweden is a little less prudish than in the United States, where I'm from. This one sauna will serve for both men, women, and a mixed time. So you have 1 hour of women, 1 hour of men, and then 1 hour of mixed. And it's nudity, it's not sexual, it's just a great way to relax. For those who aren't too familiar with the sauna, first rule, no shoes. So we'll do this little video before people come in here, because it's just a little creepy having a camera around nude people. So here's your changing area. That's where you put your towels, place to relax. And then here's the actual sauna. There's a door, glass window here. This generates your heat, and then you just sit here and you sweat. Sweat and relax. And if you're up for it, you can even take a jump in the lake after being in the sauna. Occasionally on the trail, you'll find emergency huts. Now, these aren't meant to be slept in, but you can take a short break here, get out of the wind, just get a little warmth. There is a fireplace here, but the firewood is only for emergency purposes, and you cannot spend the night unless it's an emergency. So I came here, I had a little snack, got out of the wind, warmed up a bit, because that wind is cold out there. But now I've got to continue, and of course, hike on. Behind us is the last of the STF huts. This is Vitterskallstugen, and it is 12 kilometers from the end of Hemavan. So, yep, just 12 kilometers. I can almost taste it. Tonight is my last night, because it never actually really gets dark here. But it's my last night here on trail. I'm 7.5 kilometers from the end. I could have gone in tonight, but I just want to take one last moment, one last evening, to just appreciate the trail. Plus, I've got some food to eat. So tonight's dinner is going to be very similar to the rest of the dinners I've had on this trail, which is couscous, turmeric, tuna fish, and some beef stroganoff mix. And then you mix it all into this pot, and then you got dinner. Hey, good morning. We are only a half a mile from Hemavan. What? That says a 5, not a 0.5? Well, that's because here in Sweden, they have something called a Swedish mile. And a Swedish mile, as opposed to an empirical mile, is actually equal to 10 kilometers. So if you're with a Swede and he says, oh, it's just about a mile down the road, you might want to clarify empirical or Swedish mile. And there she is, the thriving metropolis of Hemavan. And, yep, there's a runway where I'll be taking off shortly. Well, we are approaching the final marker here on Kungsleden. Do you know I was originally supposed to hike this trail 5 years ago? But I had a foot injury, ironically, similar to now. And I also had a girlfriend at the time who didn't like me to travel. So, well, eventually I fixed the foot injury and I fixed the girlfriend. Bye-bye. But I am so glad that I came back and decided to try hiking this again, because it was an amazing hike. This Kungsleden is an absolutely amazing hike. People have been hiking this for over 100 years, but just recently has it really taken off in popularity. But it's still not too popular. It's not like El Camino de Santiago, which is just overrun with people. There's the right amount of people on this trail, and the scenery is amazing. I mean, you go from the forests to the barren grasslands to the tundra. You see reindeer. There are supposed to be bears and other moose and other animals. I didn't see them, unfortunately. But yeah, we're getting real close to the finish line. I think I see it coming up. After 14 days, 21 hours, and 30 minutes, we have reached the southern terminus of Kungsleden. It's been a great, great journey. It's 45 Swedish miles, or 50 Swedish miles if you include all the side trails. Thanks so much for watching. I've got to get ready for another adventure. Goodbye, Sweden. It's time to go on to another adventure.